Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's apps session on how to find your first job in clinical attachments in the UK. So first of all, thank you all for joining us. It's amazing to see that we have an overwhelming number of participants today, around 750 from all over the world. We have tried our best to plan a very informative session for everyone, given that our audience is joining us from world over. And everyone is trying to enter the UK training pathway at a very particular point in their journey. And will face a very diverse set of problems. As you'll realize in a moment, that our panelists consist of professionals from all stages of training, and with this diversity, we're hoping to be able to answer everyone's questions today. Our agenda is that after a brief introduction of our panelist, we will be inviting Dr. Abdul Hafiz to deliver the opening note. And at the end of the panelist discussion, we will be taking questions from the audience, so the session is interactive. To moderate today's session, we have Dr. Syed Ali Raza, who's a consultant oncologist. We have Dr. Amara Naseem, who's a general physician, and myself, I'm Dr. Appsuk. For our panelists, we have three wonderful doctors joining us. We have Dr. Safir Ahmad Javed, who is an ST general surgery. We have Dr. Sara Masroor Jalani, who is an FY3 in pediatric surgery. And we have Dr. Syed Anjum Gardezi, who's a consultant gastroenterologist. Now, without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Abdul Hafiz to give the opening remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm very pleased to see such a wonderful panelists coming together and delivering on a topic which is very important for any new doctor who wants to come to the UK. I came to UK nearly 22 years ago. So I had the experience of going through all that process and reaching to where we have reached. At the time when I came, there was no organization, there was no help available. So obviously we struggled. And as things have moved on, we decided to launch an organization nearly 16 years ago to fulfill that gap. And in these wonderful 16 years, organization has achieved a lot. As you're aware, in 2020, we expanded and we moved into European countries. Obviously, this was the time when Brexit was happening. And obviously, we launched Apps Europe, which is now led by our president there, which is Dr. Abdurrahman Shahid. And we have branches in 13 countries. So if you would like to come to UK or want to go to Europe, this is the network which you need to connect with. In 2021, June, we launched Apps Middle East. We have branches in 7 countries of the Middle East. So obviously we are well connected in that part of the world as well. There is a separate team which operate. Anyone wants to go to Middle Eastern countries, want any kind of help, we are able to provide that. Now at this very stage, we are preparing to launch Apps China. In the pipeline, we have Apps Canada, we have Apps Russia, we have Apps Africa, we have Apps Kyrgyzstan. So this is actually the largest network of Pakistani health professionals in the world. And we always bring amazing speakers, amazing topics, and we are here to help you, to guide you. I personally sit on GMC's BME panel for last 10 years. So all fitness to practice hearings, their data is shared with us and we actually question and learn from them. And I think 1 or 2 important points for all junior doctors who are entering the system or thinking to enter the system, I think it's important that you are aware because we've seen so many different tragedies. Number 1, if you graduated and you have not done your house job, please do it. You have to do it in your own country, and unless you are entering UK on a visa that will allow you to take up a training post. Because we've seen doctors coming here, they pass the PLAB, they do the foundation year training as a non-trainee doctor, and then they cannot convert their registration from provisional to full registration because GMC says your foundation year training is not a training post. So they unfortunately have to go back outside UK house. So please do not make this mistake. You must do your job before you come to UK, number one. And number two, I think this is even more important. When you start a job in the hospital in the UK, you must get your defense union in place, your defense cover, which is like a insurance. I mean, all of you will be aware, or some of you may not be aware, that UK, the government provide indemnity cover for all the doctors, but that cover is not enough for all the junior doctors. You need to have your own personal cover that will protect you from GMC investigation, from any kind of investigation. These two are very important messages, and we encourage all of you to avail full services which Apps UK is offering, our wonderful team is offering, but you have to become our member, and our membership is open on our website. And I think with that, I will pass the mic back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hafiz, for your, for those wonderful words and your continuous support and enthusiasm, which keeps apps on its feet. So let's welcome our first panelist now. Without further ado, Dr. Safir Ahmed Javed.
Hello. Hello, my name is Dr. Safir Ahmed Javed. I'm working as a SC in General Surgery in Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Kingsland. Today, I'm going to talk about the profile and your CV and how you can apply to the UK on a junior level post after passing your PLAB 2 exam and getting your GMC registration. So the first and the foremost thing is, where you have to apply, and you have to get an idea that on which seats or on which vacancies you are eligible or you will suit best to start your career in the UK, and then moving forward, you can enter in training programs. So today, Apps UK has provided us this wonderful opportunity to share all the experience that we have gathered over the time and came to UK, and now we are in our respective training programs or working towards it. My talk will be focusing on certain things like job profile, how should your job profile be, and then the presentation of your job profile, because when you apply for a job, number of other candidates also do say the same thing. But what you need to make yourself stand out so that HR can pick your profile and pass it to the clinical leads, respected clinical leads, and then they can gather information and you can get an interview call. And the third important thing is where to apply for the jobs. There is more than plenty of sources which you can avail to apply for a job. All are valid and recommended. We will talk about that. And there are some myths regarding job applications and seats in the UK and getting the first job in the UK. So we will debunk that too. First of all, the junior doctor posts are called as FY1, FY2, and FY3, depending upon your level of experience, which suits you best. FY1s are for the very freshly graduated doctors, okay, and FY2 is the post-house job doctor who has completed their house jobs or their internship in their respective home countries. And FY3, similarly, post-internship doctor with a handful of experience. SHO is same as senior house officer. People with their post-internship can apply to these posts, and they have some synonyms like junior clinical fellows, trust care doctors, clinical fellows, so forth and so on. Many trusts has different kind of job portfolios, so to take as much as people as they can. If you see, some people say that what is the current status of jobs in the UK right now. This screenshot is from yesterday at 11:30 p.m. So you can see that if I just type SHO at NSS Jobs website, I can see 79 jobs that are available. Similarly, If I type junior clinical fellow, there are 96 jobs available right at that moment. It was just not even 24 hours ago. So if you find trust grade and other options, you will get the details. Now, the most important thing is how to how to get a good CV and what a good CV consists of. Okay, some trust do get your CV from NHS job profile. Some ask for it in a paper form. So ideally, it should be A4 size paper, a white paper. It should not be very lengthy, not more than 3 pages, in my opinion. And because if you put so much detail, that it makes it irrelevant, as the reader will get bored and they will skip most of the information. They cannot retain it. So you have to put a very basic and very important and the key points of your medical career that you have developed in yourself, the skills you are mastering over the years. So mention those. And you should point out these things which are very important: your current employment, where you are working, in which sector you are working, for how long you are working, who is your uh, consultant or who is your supervisor, and your career and employment history since when you are working, and for how long you worked in any department. You should make a clear statement, like from this date to that date, from this month to that month and year. And your education and qualification, it's one of the most confusing part which people experience, in my opinion, because they talk about the OGCSEs, their matriculation. Everybody knows that you have got this. Here we need to talk about your MBBS, your medical degree, your medical qualifications, your post graduations, any certification you have done during that time post MBBS, related to medical field. You should mention those things. And awards, if you have won any award at any level in your home country or internationally, it boosts your CV. To be honest, it's cherry on the top. And because NHS employers don't just look for a doctor who is concerned about their career, their medical field. They have no information outside what's happening in the field of research, in the field of medical technology. So, any courses, any meetings, any conferences you have attended over the time, please do mention that. It's very important. They need a doctor who has sound knowledge and who has an innovative mind, so that they can bring them on their workforce and they can benefit from them. And if you look at your job profile when you visit NHS jobs, the things that I have mentioned is already mentioned here. Your personal information consists of your name, address, your phone number, so that they can approach you if they, because sometimes what happens is they revisit the candidates after giving a job if they have a slot in the future, or if the candidate who has joined earlier couldn't be with them or work with them later on. So they visit those candidates and they can approach you. So you should put your email address and your valid working phone numbers, and your citizenship and visa status. It's really very important, because if someone who is in the UK, yeah, he will get this advantage of getting a job earlier than somebody who is back in Pakistan. So you should also mention that. And the most important thing, your GMC registration, your GMC registration number, and since when you are registered, or when you will when this registration will be renewed. And apart from this employment history, as I have told, qualification, the referees are the people who you have worked with. For example, your seniors, your registrars, your consultant, your HR, because they give a support to your application that yes, this person has worked with us, and they give a reflection of your work. The HR department send them an email, and through which they sign off or tick mark certain questions, and they get their it's kind of a supporting role. Everyone should put referee name, referee address and phone number, their email. It would be ideal. if you can put up the official working email, for example, at the rate of gmc.com, at the rate of appsuk.com. So it makes it more legitimate. Some employers do require that. However, if you don't have one, don't worry. You can always use your Gmail or Yahoo email domains. Most of the students or most of the candidates who are applying for jobs struggle in one specific area, and everybody is quite confused about it at the start of their careers. It's the supporting information. Because from where I come from, in my country, there was a lack of culture of audits, of research. Okay, it's not exist at all. It does exist, but you have to put your sweat in to get these things done. It's not a commonplace here and there in Pakistan. So but we all do certain kind of things that can support our supporting information. For example, if we talk about any practical experience, we all have done cannulas, we all have done ABGs, we all have done Foley's catheterization in our house jobs. What you need to do is take an account. You can create an e-portfolio, you can have a logbook, you can just document it at some place and get it signed from your senior, from your PG, or from your consultant, from your registrar, whoever senior than you can get it signed off. And the NHS has a culture of getting involved and being very interested in audits and management of change, because as we all know, audit, it is a mechanism which allows us to improve our delivery system, our services over time. So candidates who have audits in their hand, and we all do at one point in time, it's just we don't document it. Okay, so get it documented that you have done this quality improvement project. For example, if you have just put you just label the medicine drawer, it's a quality improvement. Okay, you can mention that. If you have done any audit under your clinical supervisor, under your educational supervisor at your home country, your consultant, your head of department, you can mention those things. And teachings, they do appreciate people who loves to teach and who are involved in teaching over time, because they need people who can learn over time and can improve themselves, and can spread that improvement in other peers of theirs, and their junior doctors, in their medical students who are visiting the hospital. So we all have done teaching at some point in time. It's just we don't have any evidence of that. So if you have taught someone how to put a NG tube, how to place a catheter in situ, so just get it signed. Okay, if or just get an HR to give you a piece of paper that you have given a presentation, or you have given a talk on some Deaf's disease, for example, CVA. We all do that in our house jobs, in our rotations. So this is one of the important things that you need to take care of. And there are some useful links, as I've told, that we can use. Firstly, the NHS jobs widely used, and then there's NHS Scotland that you can use to get jobs, to see vacancies in the Scotland, because Scotland is also a part of UK. You can also use track jobs. Sorry, it's pasted again, the Scottish NHS. However, you can use BMA careers. They also post jobs regularly. You can avail you can use all these things to get to know what kind of jobs are being posted and what's the deadline. After talking all this, I have just certain points to tell you guys. Some people just don't understand one thing while applying for a job, which is which they don't read person specification. And as I was talking about myths, so the one myth is that I have applied for 50 jobs or 200 jobs, but I have not got a single call for interview. Why is that? The answer to this is that what we most of us do is we make a template CV and we send it to every other job, HR, everyone regularly on daily basis. We are just sending it over and over again. However, if you just click on the person specification, you will know what the employer wants from you. So you have to tailor your CV according to that. you have to include those points which they are looking for. For example, if you are applying for a surgical post, you should put more surgical experience of yours in that supporting information rather than putting from medicine. Alternatively, if you are applying for orthopedic job, if you have worked in orthopedics, you should put that. But it's not like if you have no orthopedic experience, you cannot get a junior level post. You can. It's just you have to show them your desire that you want to work in orthopedics, you want to learn orthopedics, because the UK in the UK, it's something they like to teach and they like to train their people by themselves. Okay, so if you are, even you don't have an experience but you have that passion to work in that field, if you can portray it on your CV, if you can mention those points, there's no one that can stop you from getting that job. And some other myths are that I don't have an experience, that I have told that I have no experience, I have a post house job, I haven't worked anywhere. Still, if you declare that the reason that you can't get an experience, or you can't, why you can't work in the medicine field for whatever reason, you can explain that. Experience gap, most of our female doctors in Pakistan from other part of the world have this, that they have experience gap due to marriage, due to maternity. So they can mention that this is something that goes on naturally with us. Okay, this is a natural process. If you are on maternity leave, you can't work. Okay, so they don't frown upon it. However, if you have a 10 years experience gap or 8 years experience, still people get job. So you have to give us valid reason why you have that kind of uh, gap. And your age, then the other factor, age is not a factor. I have seen people working at the age of 40s and 50s at a junior level post after clearing their plabs and getting their GMC registration. So it's not even a problem. Saturation in the job market, what we hear that back in our homes, that job market is so saturated, you can't get a place. To be very, very honest, every hospital in the NHS is struggling with shortage of doctors. Okay, so there's no saturation of the jobs. It's just you have to be keen and you have to put your profile in an elegant way that a reader can read it and get that key points, that and can know you from reading, by reading it, because they are not talking to you, they don't have any idea what you have done with for yourself over the time, or what your experience is. So you have to portray it, you have to mention all the details in a fine manner, so that the reader can take an idea of your everything you have done for you in your medical career, and can give you an opportunity to present for the interview. Also, this is these are the myths that I want to talk about. And I'm very thankful for Apps UK for providing me this opportunity to have a talk with you guys. I hope you have learned something from this talk. And again, this is my message. Please join Apps UK as a member, because it's one of the world's biggest Pakistani doctors organization, and they help people at many crucial events of their life. So do join it and get guidance, get support you need to work as a doctor in the UK. Thank you.
Dr. Safir, thank you so much for such a wonderful talk and explaining all the intricate details that other junior doctors might not necessarily know while entering into the system. So we are on Facebook Live, and if anybody has any questions, they can either chat they can raise a question answer on the Zoom meeting that we currently have, or they can also write their question on Facebook Live, and we'd be happy to answer that question. Next, I will let Dr. Abdul Hafiz take over and introduce our next panelist.
Thank you. Such a wonderful speech, Dr. Safir. Thank you. And really appreciate the key message which I heard was, how do you stand out among the crowd? I have experience of seeing nearly 50 plus countries in the UK. So when you are coming in an international market, you are competing against the best of the world. So there is a huge choice for employers. So you have to become best. And if, for example, you graduated, somebody else graduated, what is extra or what could be extra? And these are the things which you need to think, where he was highlighting in terms of research, your teaching experience, your management skills, your extracurricular activities, Have you passed, for example, a post-graduation exam, a membership exam, and a master's degree or a research paper? So these things really stand out. Next, I'm going to introduce our basically chief guest of the day, which is Dr. Shahid Mahmood, who is a consultant neurologist. Very recently, Government of Punjab has taken him on board as the vice chair of Overseas Pakistan Commission. So we are very proud to have one of us representing us in the government. Obviously, Dr. Shahid has amazing plans in terms of how he would like to work with the international diaspora, especially the medical community, but not limited to medical community, to take this word forward. So we would like to just hear his views here. Thank you. Over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for welcoming me. I'm incredibly grateful for this invitation. I would personally like to thank Dr. Abdul Hafiz, who is an excellent man for this job of helping and uniting APPS doctors. I think during my encounters, I have learned a lot. I think I have not seen anyone more suitable for this job. Rather, he can do much more, in my opinion. He's so much organized, so much dedicated, hardworking. And I heard a great deal about him from my friends before I met him, actually. So thank you very much, Dr. Abdul Hafiz, for inviting. Also, I'm thankful to Dr. Afshan, Dr. Amara, Dr. Safi, Dr. Sarah Jilani, and Dr. Sayyid Ali Raza, who extended the invitation, and Dr. Bezi, Dr. Irfan, and last but not least, my friend, my close friend and classmate, my lovely classmate, Dr. Ghulam Abbas. And thank you all the participants for listening to me as well. First of all, this initiative on clinical attachment, it's a wonderful event. Really, doctors, when they are on their ladder earlier on, they're struggling. There's no one to take their ownership. So I admire you of this. I admire you on organizing this event. It's a beautiful event. Please carry on. And I have seen like APPS is organizing multiple events, all events. They're exceptional events, exceptionally like wonderful topics chosen for discussions. I'm totally appreciative of that. Please include me in all the events. I will try to join as many as I can. So I was working as a neurophysician. I had to leave UK and have to come Pakistan, some personal reason, but at the same time, there was an offer of Vice Chairperson, Overseas Pakistani Commission. This Overseas Pakistani Commission is basically an initiative since 2014. It has been a commission built to help resolve the issues of Pakistani community living abroad. So basically, this commission is built in Punjab. At the moment, there is consultation going on for Kashmir as well as KPK and Sindh. So soon it will be like similar commissions will be built in other provinces. So this position was vacated after my friend as well as senior like Makhdoom Tariq Mahmood Al Hassan, who was working here previously as Vice Chairman, Overseas Pakistani Commission. He was like taken to the federal portfolio, and he is now overseas SAPM to Special Advisor to Prime Minister in federal portfolio. So the purpose of this commission is to restore the confidence of overseas Pakistani on the Pakistani government as well as Pakistan as a country, because multiple people, when they visit Pakistan or when they are away from Pakistan, their lands are grabbed by land grabbing mafia, sometimes their own relatives. Also, they face multiple issues as they get used to living in a different setup, and they face problems, and they blame the bureaucracy here. There's a delay in justice, and that delay is partly because they are not present there, and the other party takes opportunity to delay the case. They take the dates. In the meanwhile, what happens is they have to take the flight and come back, and they can't leave the livelihood there, but they are equally injured because what happens is their lands are occupied. So that's one issue. But now recently, there is more and more diversification of this portfolio as well. So we are trying to build more and more things. So in my last discussion, Chief Minister has given the initiative that we should think about bilateral exchange program as well, like sending students from here, those students who are like from backward areas, they top their schools, they top their cities. We should make a criteria, and those who top their FSC or FA level or A levels exam, we should promote them, and they should go abroad and take some like take a look around how the life is around and take exposure, so that they feel that they have a country which supports them to learn about other things. Also, additionally, Pakistanis who are living abroad, their children, we will call them here, and they will be state guests, like they will be living in Islamabad, they will be living in Lahore, they will be living in Murray, and multiple areas, Karachi maybe, and other areas, so that they can have a positive view of what Pakistan is doing. Additionally, we are working on a short internships, like maybe few days attachment in multiple offices, so that the next generation of overseas Pakistani living abroad, they can come here and they can spend few days in office atmosphere here and multiple offices, so that they see how the working goes and what goes wrong and how the life is, so that get exposure. And if they like the area, they may apply for jobs here as well, and they can come and work here as well. And ultimately they become ambassador of Pakistan, and they portray a positive image. So there are multiple proposals ongoing. We had long discussions with Dr. Abdul Hafiz, how we can do with regards to medical community, how we can train the workforce here, how we can fulfill the shortage of doctors or nurses in UK as well as abroad, how we can utilize this opportunity to have a win-win situation. Like on the one hand, there's shortage in UK. On the other hand, there is shortage of jobs here, how we can reach the win-win situation. So with respect to my portfolio, I'm currently working in One Club Road is GOR1. So I would like to take this opportunity that all of you, if you have any issue or anyone related to you have any issues with properties or any other problems, please visit our website and launch a complaint and let me know personally, and then I will try to help you in achieving an optimal outcome. So that's one thing. The other thing is, please visit this office, and if you have any suggestions, any ideas, so we can try to reach the CM, and then we can take the way forward so that we could do something for the country. So if you have anything in the federal, essentially Makhdoom Saab is here, so we have federal portfolio as well, and now we can liaison with him. He's very, very approachable, very well-connected person. So it will be easy for us to take this initiative. So I think I will not take long. I'm very, very grateful for providing me this opportunity, for welcoming me to all of you. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahid, for this, for sharing this important information in your talk. The amazing work that you are doing to help overseas Pakistani and Pakistanis over there, and your wonderful future projects. Assalamu alaikum and hello, my name is Dr. Amara. I am your co-host for today. And let me extend my greetings in addition to my panelists to all the audience and amazing people who have joined this session for today. Welcome. And thank you very much for joining us for this session. And we hope that you will benefit hugely from this session. We can see there are a lot of questions in our question and answer section. We will try our best to address all these questions at the end of our presentations when our guests have spoken. But in the meantime, please let them come. Without a further ado, I'm going to invite our next guest, Dr. Anjum. So Dr. Syed Anjum Kardesi, he doesn't need any introduction, mashallah. He is a consultant gastroenterologist and a clinical lecturer in Cardiff. Welcome, Dr. Anjum.
Thank you so much, APPS UK, for inviting me today in this session. I have been involved in the training and recruitment of foreign medical graduates, formally and informally as well, as part of some of the social media groups. So often I come across a lot of questions, a lot of worries, a lot of myths about applying for the jobs and settling in the UK. So this session hopefully will be quite helpful, just combining those. And sometimes it gets very hard to write individually those responses to people's questions. So this will hopefully help answering some of those questions. So the road to UK has, there are multiple stages of it, and it starts with the GMC registration when you take your PLAB, if you're coming here via the postgraduate qualification route, or if you're taking a sponsorship route like MTIs. And then once you have the registration, then the job hunt starts, which in fact involves your CVs, your applications, looking for those jobs. And after that, once you're shortlisted, then you get the interview calls. The process up till here is more or less the same, whether you're going for the training jobs or the non-training jobs. And as mostly people who are applying for their first jobs, they're looking for the non-training jobs. So I'll try to focus on that in this session. And today, in fact, I'll be just mainly focusing on how to look for these jobs, how to build your CV, and how to maximize your chances of getting your applications shortlisted. It will be a brief session, but we'll try to answer your questions as they come along as well. So when we are talking about your CV is your first interaction when you're applying for any job, because people have not seen you. They are reading a piece of paper and deciding about you to try to make it as attractive as you can. And I've shared this link of GMC because everyone tries to make their CV in a different manner. In NHS, this GMC pattern of CV making, this is quite a standard format. And if you don't know, or if you have never formatted a CV for yourself, I would suggest going on to this website, the General Medical Council, going to this link and seeing how they have suggested you to establish your CV. It is a stepwise manner. It's quite clear. You just have to follow those steps, and then you can format your CV exactly as they have suggested. The most important thing is that keep updating your CV as the time passes. Even if you have gaps in between, try to cover those times with some kind of courses, some online lectures. Make sure that it looks like you are working on your CV and it's not a static CV. Now, what are the things that matter in your CV when you're applying for the jobs? There are lots of things. In fact, as Dr. Safir in the first presentation, he mentioned that most of these things might not matter a lot, but in fact, they give you weightage, and especially when you're coming for a competitive environment, as Dr. Abdulhafiz suggested initially. Then if there is only one person applying for one job, that's fine. But if there are 10 people applying for one job, then they will look for all these things which make you stand out among those 10 people. And lots of things that matter in your CV are things like academic achievements, if you have got any distinctions or if you've got any medals in your primary medical qualification, if you have done anything extra like masters, or if you have done any bachelors, if you've done any research degrees. One thing most of the junior doctors are expected to know when you come to UK, or we expect them to have some kind of idea, is a clinical audit or a quality improvement process. So if you don't know about it, read about quality improvement projects, quality improvement process, clinical audits. These are very simple things that can add a lot of value to your CV. And when we look at the CVs, and if someone has done an audit sitting in an environment which is outside UK, that really makes us think that, of course, this candidate, he knows about these things and he's a dynamic candidate. Research and publications at your stage, they can be hard, but of course, if you have an experience of those, then they really add value to your CV, and they can stand you out among your peers quite nicely. The most important thing, and I think when you're applying for any job, is the commitment to your specialty. And that means what have you done or how you're showing that you're committed to work in that specialty. If you're applying for a medicine job, if you have done any postgraduate exams, have you done any relevant courses for that particular specialty? If you have attended any conferences, are you a member of any organizations? And same holds true for any kind of job you're applying. So make sure that you focus on your commitment to specialty. And this is the thing you can do even if you have gaps in your CV. Still, you can do the courses, you can attend some conferences, you can take some exams as well, and they can help you build your CV and keep it updated on that side. Few things which we don't realize when we are abroad or not in the UK is kind of voluntary work or some extracurricular activities. And if you mention those things, in fact, when I came first into this country and I was applying for the jobs, and I saw people writing how they have helped with fundraising, or they have worked with this charity or this organization, or they've developed this forum, it was quite strange to me, as I thought the medical jobs are all about working in a hospital, doing some studies, passing some exams. But in fact, there are lots of things that matter in your work as a medical professional, including leadership skills, organizational skills, and these things really stand you out. Again, they add value to your CV if you're working on those. So make sure while you're applying for the jobs, when you're in your own country, then work on these particular aspects and try to make your CV as strong as you can. You don't need all of these things, but the more, the better, of course. And if you don't have any of these things, again, don't get disheartened. You can still apply, you can still be shortlisted. Lots of people get interviewed and they get the jobs. But of course, as I said, it makes you more competitive. I think this has been discussed previously as well, that how do you look for the jobs? Now, a lot of time people ask, there are no jobs they have been looking for. There are different websites people use. NHS jobs is by far the most common. Track jobs is another one. You will see in the search box, there are different filters that you have to apply. You need to know what is the job you're applying for. If you're applying for a house officer job, a senior job, you need to see what are the different terminologies that are used in the NHS. I've used a few of those here, which include FY2, house officer, junior clinical fellow, CTs, SHOs, registrars, middle grades. These terminologies can be confusing when you're not working in this environment. So familiarize yourself with these terminologies and then search for your jobs with these appropriate filters. And also use these filters to look for any particular area you want to work in or particular hospital you want to work in. And this example, my colleague earlier on quoted as well. Again, a common question that's been asked is there going to be a saturation? There are no jobs. I've applied, my friends have applied, they didn't get any jobs. So if you look at, just before starting this presentation, I just searched with the term medical SHO and found 60 jobs live right now. So there are lots of jobs and lots of opportunities going on in NHS right now. But before you apply for the jobs, think carefully. Read the job description bit. You might never noticed it while you're applying, but there is a small tab on the right side or somewhere in the application bit that says job description. It's usually a PDF document that says what exactly is your job going to be. What are you expected to do? What kind of hospital is this? And what are the things they're expecting you to do? So it is very important that rather than randomly applying for the jobs, make sure you apply for the right job. And then comes the person specifications, which means what are the essential things they're looking for? Some people might be asking you that you need to have a full MRCP exam for this job. So if you randomly apply for that job without an exam, there is no point of applying and getting rejected and getting disheartened. So read these bits carefully. When you have read these two parts, we'll talk later on as well how they can help you with your application process as well. But going through this is the first step for your application. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, that also read about where is the hospital, what is the working environment like these days. You can easily find people who are already working there. Although most of the hospitals they have nice working environments, but sometimes you can look at the social media and see what is the feedback from different people about those hospitals, especially with regards to IMGs, and also the locations, whether if you want to live in a specific area or in a specific kind of place, like some people, if they want to look for halal food, or some people want to be in a place where Asians live, then you need to make sure that you're applying for the right place. Now, coming back to your application is going to be your first impression with an employer. It either goes to the HR, and then it goes for the shortlisting to the consultants or the department to see that what kind of doctor you are on paper. So this is your first impression. Try to make it the best. We talked about job description and person specs, so make sure you've read those. And when you write your application in accordance with those. There's no point randomly talking about 100 of courses that you have done. You can certainly mention those at the very end, but I would suggest highlighting what is mentioned in the job description or person specs of that job. If someone wants to have ALS certification for a particular job, there's no need to mention 100 of the courses and ALS at the bottom. And I've seen that happening in some of the CVs, that we had to look through the application or 100 points to see where is ALS, or where is the experience in medicine in this person, or where is an MRCP exam, as this is a medical job. So similarly, try to tailor your application for that particular job and try to highlight what are the clinical skills or what are the courses or achievements you have in particular for that application. And that makes life easy for people who are going through your CV. And believe me, there's not enough time to read through all the application and stuff, and people like going through CVs quickly. And if your CV is standing out, it has everything clearly in order, and it highlights the important bits. There are very good chances that you will be selected and you will be shortlisted as well. And I think the first, Dr. Safi talked about the free text bit as well. I never realized when I came here first what was the importance of the free text bit. Either some people tend to write, when I go through CVs of some people, I've seen that either they keep it too short or they keep it too long. And again, it's quite a haphazard or a random kind of paragraph they have written, which doesn't make much sense. So again, use this time. This is like a free session given to you to talk about yourself. This is how you sell yourself, and make sure that you tell people that why you're more suitable for this job. So again, this is where you're going to bring in all the job specifications, person specification, and job description, and tell them how your experience previously or your academic achievements are going to help with this particular job. If you have worked, there's no point mentioning to people about a particular hospital you have been working and you have done thousands of procedures and all those things. All you have to mention is that I'm applying for this job. I have been working in a similar kind of environment. And then because of this, I'm quite confident that I am going to be surviving in this environment, and I'm going to be a good candidate for you. And also use this text, like free text. Again, interesting observation, or in fact, a feedback I got from some of the local colleagues here is when you're applying for jobs, it gives a good impression that you have read about the job if you mention something about that area as well where you're applying. Suppose if you're applying in London, telling people about how you love working in big cities. If you're applying for somewhere north or in Wales, telling you love to work or live in a kind of a calm place with mountains around and things like that. So telling people about your hobbies and telling that you've read about this job description also helps, and it is quite useful as well. And it goes without saying that try to be grammatically correct and try to stay polite in all your communication. Your attitude takes you a long way in your career. So just keep that in mind, that whenever you're writing these things, if you're not very good in English, just ask one or two of your colleagues who are to just go through your application and then forward it to other people. Now, it goes without saying, commitment to specialty is something that's going to stand out in your application. So make sure you are trying to fit it everywhere and trying to show that this is something you have done in your specialty, and that's why you are the perfect candidate. And it is all about standing out among your peers. If there are 60 applicants, you are trying to give me a reason in your application that you are the one I should be keeping at the top because of A, B, and C, because you've done these things. Again, these things we have discussed earlier on, but common mistakes which people make is that they make a generic application. Like, I know that the NHS job saves your application. And if you have applied for a medical job, if you see like a junior job in staff or the same level job in gynecology, you will be forwarding the same application. Same application will go to orthopedics as well. It doesn't look very nice when it goes to that panel. It doesn't show your commitment. It doesn't show you've read job description. So try avoiding that. Try tailoring your application according to your job description, as I mentioned. And don't use irrelevant information. Don't cloud your information. Just try to highlight the important things in your free text or in your application. And the same things that don't try and avoid some of these grammatical errors, and make sure your language is technically correct as well. Again, these are not the things that you must have, but of course, if you have any of these things, then they're going to help with your application. So if you have a full GMC registration, as opposed to a provisional GMC registration or a PLAB 1, or you're waiting for your registration, you will be a preferred candidate as compared to someone who is waiting. If you don't have any visa issues, or if you're already in the UK, then you will be a preferred candidate in most of these jobs because you're ready to start. If you've done a clinical attachment, which is again not a must, but again, this will add to your CV because you know the system, you have seen how things work, and people will prefer to take you on their teams. And if you have a relevant experience in your specialty, again, that goes without saying that that's going to help getting onto your first job. I won't go into details of the interview because that in itself is a lengthy process, but once you have made your application attractive enough, then there is no reason that you shouldn't be shortlisted for the interview. And once you have been shortlisted for the interview, just 1 or 2 tips that make sure that you prepare well for your interview. There's no point turning, I have been in the interview panels and I've seen people sitting there in t-shirts without proper preparation. So make sure that if you're in the interview, show that you're interested for this job. Make sure you know how to use your IT equipment. You should be ready with backups for the IT failure, as most of the interviews these days done are online. So make sure that your impression in the interview is as good as your CV. Only recently I was involved with some of the interviews and we had a brilliant application, but when we interviewed the candidate, all that impression just completely disappeared. So it's not only about your application, but also when you are shortlisted, that's one step gone. The next thing is make sure you're preparing well for your interviews. And I'll end my session here. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask here. I will be happy to answer along with other panel members. I am also happy to be contacted on social media with regards to this. We have been doing it for a long time. So any questions with regards to your applications, working in the UK, living in the UK, or if you're already here, I'm happy to be contacted. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anjum, for this really informative but important talk at the same time, and where you have highlighted the importance of application, because this is the first impression that your future employer is going to have of you. So please do take it seriously. And also, I'm sure our listeners will take the full benefit of all the tips that you have shared in your talk. Jazakallah khair, and thank you very much. So next, I'm going to invite our guest, Dr. Sarah Masroor Jelani. She is FY3 in pediatric surgery in Liverpool. Dr. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibarra. Right. Hi. My name is Sarah, and I would like to welcome everyone who's joined in today. We can see that there are people from all over the world. So essentially, I'm very new to the UK system, and I think what I will try and do is walk you through my personal experience, just to understand, as both Dr. Savia and Dr. Anjum have mentioned before, the most important thing is to stand out in your application. And that's how you essentially get your first job. So first of all, before you even start applying, you need to first figure out what you want to do and how you want to apply, and whether you want to apply into training or not. The first part of the presentation would be how you actually achieve a clinical attachment and why you need to do it, and what's the importance of it when you later apply for a job once you're GMC registered. There's also the fact that at what stage of your training or what stage of your career you're going to apply at, whether you're someone who is eligible, who has given their PLAB exam, or are you eligible to get GMC registration on your postgraduate exams, for example, the MRCS and other exams like that. You also need to decide when you're applying whether you want to get into training or you don't want to get into training. We'll discuss a few of the different kinds of job types and the applications and how to actually prepare for the interview. Majority of this presentation will be on doing a demo of my own profile, just to give you guys a quick sort of taster as to what you need to put in, especially the supporting information, because that's very, very important. And then we can answer all your questions later on. So, when I was applying for my very first job, I had not done a clinical attachment. And all I had done was given my PLAB, gotten GMC registered. The good thing, what I had actually done was in year 5, I've done a clinical elective in the UK. So I used that as my NHS experience when applying for a job, which majority of the NHS trusts do accept. But now there are certain pathways that they've put in place because they've realized that every doctor that's coming in that they are hiring should have a little bit of NHS experience. So there are multiple websites out there. There's the BMA that has actually listed down all the hospitals in the NHS trust that have started a clinical attachment program officially, which was not there when I was applying. So basically, it allows you as an international medical graduate to gain an overview of all the systems of UK. So essentially, you're not learning the clinical skills that because you already know those. The point of the clinical attachment is to understand specifically what system are in place in NHS hospitals and how you do all the management things within the hospital. So within the clinical attachment, you're essentially just being an observer, and you can't sort of make patient decisions and things like that. Now, when to apply for a clinical attachment, the best time would be when you're in line to give your PLAB 2 exam, because that's actually a reason why you would come to the UK. The best time would be to do it after your exam when you're a bit more settled, and then you've given your exam and it's out of the way. Obviously, getting a clinical attachment, I think, is one of the, it's obviously a hurdle, but I think now that employers have realized how important it is that overseas doctors have a bit of an NHS experience, they've started these programs where you can apply for clinical attachment separately. Sometimes if you're visiting UK to visit your family or friends that live in the UK, you can also do an attachment then as well. Now, there's a lot of paperwork that you will need, even for a clinical attachment. You will need one of the certified English tests, so either the IELTS or the OET. And obviously, you're going to need a visa. You can do a clinical attachment on the visitor visa itself, or your PLAB 2 visa, which will also be a visitor visa. The PLAB 2 visa is for 6 months. You're obviously going to come to the UK. You probably will need a little bit of study time, give your exam, but you should have ample time enough afterwards to do your clinical attachment on the same visa. So this is one of the most important slides. If the candidates, if you guys want, can take a snapshot of the slide through using your mobile phone. This is on the BMA website, which I found yesterday, that these are all the trusts that are actually offering official clinical attachment programs. If you go on their website, they tell you which specialties the attachments are available and who to email and what documents they need from your side, and when do they in what months of the year do they allow overseas professionals to have clinical attachments. The other way you can find attachments is through your contacts. Apps UK is a very good platform to do that as well. Right. So when you find someone that's an NHS trust that's offering a clinical attachment, obviously they normally ask you for a cover letter. They ask you for your CV. They also ask you for a reference letter as well. The other way that you can do this is if you can email a consultant directly. This is a bit of a hit and a miss. If you check the hospital directory for the consultant's NHS email or ID, sometimes they do reply, but again, it's something that you can try, but it's a bit of a hit and a miss. Right. So job application. Because when I came into the UK, I was at an FY2 level, which means I had just done my house job and I got GMC registered with the license to practice. And the next level that I could apply was a foundation year 2. You need to know what level you are when you're applying for your first job, or what level you can work at. It might be difficult because sometimes you're back home, whichever country you're from, you might be working as a resident or a registrar, but when you come here, you might have to work at a lower level, just because you need a little bit of time to understand the processes here, because the process here is very different from how the process it would be in your home country. You also need to understand, once you get your first job, is whether you're coming into the UK to be trained or not, because that would decide what kind of jobs you apply for. So most of the people attending this will probably be looking to apply for an NHS job. I've always found this debate online, whether when they start applying or getting jobs, whether to apply to a tertiary care center or a district general hospital. Is it easier to adjust at a district general hospital just because it's smaller, you have smaller number of patients, and tertiary care centers tend to be more specialized? I don't think it makes much of a difference. In my personal opinion, I came from a very large tertiary care hospital back in Pakistan. So my first job was actually in a DGH, and I found that very hard because DGHs are very resource limited depending on which district general hospital you end up at. And I think it's just a personal preference. You need to understand whether you are limited by location within the UK. So when you're actually applying for the job, do you only need to apply in one particular location? Obviously, that would restrict the amount of vacancies you find. For someone who is applying when they've just done their house job or their internship back home, what the employer expects of you is that you're not specialized at all. So even if you've not done a specific specialty, I would advise you to still apply for that. They have, for the SHO level, they have rotational posts as well, where you rotate in between different specialties. So they don't want, even if you have an interest, let's say in orthopedics, and they have a rotational post in ENT, general surgery, and other surgical subspecialties. But at the level of an SHO, I think it might be worthwhile just taking up those other surgical subspecialties just to get into the system. There's also this debate of whether when I was applying, there was this debate of whether you should work in a private healthcare setup first, just because the salary is more and you can just set your roots in the UK and then you can potentially apply for an NHS job later. When I was giving my PLAB, these private healthcare setups actually they sent representatives to us at the academy that we were studying, and they would send out leaflets. It's very interesting because you get paid more, and you work less, but essentially that won't count just because you're not working in an NHS setup. They're all private hospitals. Right. So how do you actually apply? A few of the other panelists that were before me have already mentioned and shown you the website. The most common ones are NHS Jobs and the Track Jobs website. Then there are other private care setups. There are private companies that can find jobs for you. However, I think as a junior doctor, if you're coming to UK as a junior doctor, I would not advise going to these resourcing websites, just because they mostly cater to people who are at consultant level or at a higher level. One of the very famous one is BDI resourcing. So they do everything for you. They will find the vacancy for you. All you have to do is give them all your details and all your documents, and they find the vacancy for you whenever it arrives. But as a junior doctor, I would not advise this because it doesn't really work. Right. So job application. So obviously when are you eligible to actually apply? Most of you would already know this. You need a primary medical qualification. You should have passed both parts of your PLAB, and either you are awaiting GMC registration or you have gotten GMC registration with a license to practice. One of the things that I noticed that other people have also mentioned, the other panelists, is that with the supporting information part of your application, everyone does it very differently. And it's very, very important that you're very specific to the job that you've applied for. A lot of people don't end up reading the person specification part of the job advertisement. That actually helps you understand what they're looking for. So you can actually tailor your supporting information to what they're looking for. That would make your application stand out more. I'll give you an example when I show you mine. If this is your first job in the UK, you need to decide, there will be a lot of advertisements for SHO or junior doctor or a junior clinical fellow job, which is just an SHO is an umbrella term for all of these. But you need to understand whether you want to work full time. They also advertise locum appointment for services, which is a job where you don't work full time. And I would not advise to work as a locum doctor as your first NHS job. Make sure whatever job you're applying for has a contract of at least a 6 month. There are jobs out there that are only for 4 months, and I don't think that's a good idea to apply, in my personal opinion, just because you're going to end up looking for another job right after you've gotten into the first one, and it's very difficult to settle into a new system. And you need to understand what level you are before you apply for your job. So like the other panelists have mentioned, the SHO is the umbrella term, and that can include anyone from an FY2 and FY3, junior clinical fellow, someone who's equivalent to ST1, CT1. These are all names for the same level, essentially. Right. So key points of the application is that you make your application profile, try and put as much as of everything that you've done onto it, even if you've done any little bit of research back home. I know doing audits back home is very difficult depending on where you're from. But if you've done any sort of teaching, if you've done any little bit of research, if there's ongoing research, if there's an ongoing audit, if you've done any course, put it onto your application. It's very important that you put whatever you've done apart from your clinical aspects, because you need to understand that over here, doctors don't just do clinical work. They get into leadership, they get into management, and they get into research as well. It's very difficult to do all those things back home when you're not, that's not part of your training. But any extra bits that you have done, please try and include them in your application. It does help. NHS experience, I think now more than ever, employers from my personal experience are more adamant that people already have NHS experience. This is briefly from, I've been very lucky in the fact that whenever I've had a job, my clinical supervisor would be the departmental lead, or would be the one who would be employing people into the hospital for that particular specialty. So now they're more inclined towards you having NHS experience prior, and that NHS experience should be at least for more than 4 weeks, at least 4 to 6 weeks. If you can do longer, that would be better. about the supporting information, like we mentioned, you need to be as detailed but as precise as you can be. Add on things that would make you stand out, that you are suited to that particular role that you're applying for. For example, you cannot use the same application for an emergency medicine job and a surgical job, because you're essentially using one template and you're sending it to everyone, and it looks very haphazard, and you come out as that you're not focused enough. So make sure whenever you apply, change the supporting information bit of your application with every application. That would be my go-to for you. That's essentially what I did, because I applied to all surgical and emergency medicine jobs, but I would change my supporting information before I press the submit button, just to make sure that I read the person's specification and adjust it to ensure that whatever qualities you have fit for that job are coming through. Because essentially, when the panel that's going to read this has no idea of who you are, they've never seen you, they've never met you, they have 200 applications already for that post, and the only way that the HR department or the recruitment department is going to pick your application out of all those 200s is when they read your supporting information, because that's the only thing that's personalized. So make sure you have a very good supporting information section of your application. Right, timeline for job application. It will take a good 2 to 6 months. Hopefully you should get your first job in the first 2 months. And the applying stage is always very difficult. So for example, when I applied, I had to apply to 152 jobs before I got my first 3-4 interviews. So it does happen. You will just need to keep applying and be persistent, but you will get the interview. If your application is correct and it's suited to the job that you're applying to, you will get an interview. You need to alter, like I mentioned, you need to alter your profile and make sure you read the job description and the person's specifications for the job. When you go on the actual NHS website page and you type in whatever level of job you're looking for, the job advert itself always has some files attached to it. So one of them will be the person's specification and the job description. Make sure you go through those. Don't just randomly apply without looking at those, because those are important. That's what essentially the employer is looking for. And you need to make sure that, for one, you fit that job criteria. Two, you add on everything that's written that they would desire in a candidate onto your supporting information. For the interview itself, I would suggest prepare well for the interview, irrespective of what specialty you get the interview in, depending on where you apply. As a junior doctor, if within the interview, if there's any advice I can give you, is you already will know the clinical knowledge that they would expect from you in an interview. I think what you need to understand is how the system works, how to manage certain situations. And as a junior doctor, they want you to be a safe doctor rather than know everything off the bat from the books. So make sure you know what the concept of patient safety within the NHS, and that you always have someone that you can escalate to. That's very, very important. Right, so the applications, all the applications. So I'm from Alderhay Children's Hospital, and one of the registrars is actually going through all the applications currently. So I've had a little chat with them. What they essentially do is none of the clinical people are going to look at the applications because there's too many applications. What they end up doing is they're all reviewed by either medical staffing personnel or recruitment teams, more often than not, if it's a big hospital. And then only the ones that are shortlisted are then reviewed by consultants or senior registrars who would be part of the interview panel. On the interview itself, you will have one clinical representative, which will be a senior registrar or a consultant. You might have two consultants if it's a rotational post, where you'll have one consultant from each. You normally obviously have one HR representative. And the way the interview works is that you normally have a clinical station and a management station. And in the start of the interview, they ask you to run down your CV or whatever you've done or your clinical experience. If you get to the interview stage, and hopefully with a good application, you should be able to, need to have a few questions. So the interviewers are very keen if you want to ask them questions of things you want to know before you start the jobs. And you can also ask them things they would expect from you prior to starting. And if there's any sort of support that you need, they will give the support to you. Right. So I'm just going to share I'm just going to share my actual job profile. Right. So every job profile, so once you make your NHS job profile or your track jobs profile, it gets saved. So you can use the same profile again and again. So this is just personal information. And then essentially you put down all your qualifications in one place. So this is obviously afterwards. You need to put down all your qualifications up until now, including your IELTS, your PLAB, any other postgraduate exams that you might have given in your home country. Please put them down. All the training courses that you might have attended as well, including ALS or any other courses. Even if they're not UK certified, I would advise to put them down either ways. So this bit is very important, that you need to include all your employment history as well. Where have you worked, including all your employment gaps. They ask you for what were your duties and responsibilities. Be as clear-cut as you possibly can about this, and where you worked and essentially what your rota was like. If you have any gaps within your career, irrespective of how long that gap is, there's always a section at the bottom to put your employment gaps. Over here, people are very understanding of employment gaps, as long as you have a reason justified for it. That's my personal experience. I'm not sure what's happened with other people, but I have put down all my gaps here, and it's very important that you let them know. You have a section for referees, so who find out people within your setup who can referee, who can act as a referee for you. Someone who's your current employer would become your referee. If you have a gap, then you're going to need a personal character reference, which is just a similar thing. So these details don't go to the employer up until you don't actually get the job. So they will only contact your referees once you have the job. Now, this is the important bit, the supporting information. So if you have done any practical skills back home, mention this. If you have a logbook for it, that's even better. So there are places where if you have a logbook, do mention all of these, that whether you've done them independently or under senior supervision. There's a section here for teaching. If you've done any small kind of teaching and you have any evidence that you can show, even without evidence, I've still put it in. Any audit that you might have done. If you haven't done audits, that's fine. This application is for while I'm in the NHS. I did not have any audit that I had done before I got my first job. So that's okay if you've not done one. Any research you might have done back home or any ongoing research, please mention it. Even if it's not published, it's not completed, add all the journals that might have been published under your name. If not, that's okay. Right. If there's any management or leadership experience you might have, you might add this here, even if you don't have supporting evidence for it. Team working aspects. So you've obviously worked in teams in the clinical setting that you were at back home. Just give them a brief description of how you acted as a team member. You don't need essential evidence to support this at the minute. Now, this part needs to be very, very good. You need to understand that you need to read the person's specifications and the job description really well and tailor this part with every application. You can't make it generic. Right. I think if I could tell you any take-home messages on how to apply, you need to know when exactly you want to apply and what your career path is. For example, if I give my example, I know I wanted to pursue surgical training, and I needed a surgical job. So I wasn't very hell-bent on what kind of surgical job I get. I would apply to every surgical job that was out there and every emergency medicine job, because you can use emergency medicine as clinical experience when you apply for surgery. So I sent out my application to everything. So ENT, plastics, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter to me because I just need to get my first job. When you need to understand what role you need to apply for. So I was at the junior most role. So I would apply for an SHO job or an FY2 position, and make sure that your application profile is very well structured and catered to the job that you're applying to. Right. If anyone has any questions about job application, this is my email address. I would be very happy if you email your queries to me. I would respond as quickly as I can. Specifically, if is anyone looking to pursue surgery or training in surgery within the UK, I would be very happy to assist with that as well, because that's essentially the most I would know about at this stage. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I must say your presentation and your talk is really good, because you not only touched upon how to find the job in UK, but also you mentioned about the clinical attachment, which I think many of the audience, they had this question, and I'm sure through your presentation and your talk, they've got their answer. We are going to open our question and answer session, but I just want to tell our audience, I'm hoping that after all these talks that you're not feeling overwhelmed, that you might have to go through a lot in order to get your first job or a clinical attachment. Believe me, we all have gone through it, and it is possible. And APPS is here to help you and guide you and make this process easier. So I would say that you are very lucky in this case, that when we started, we never had this sort of platform. But thanks to Dr. Abdul Hafiz, that we have got this platform. And I'm sure that APPS will help you to make this journey easier for you. And hopefully, inshallah, one day you will be able to get the job and you will be in our position, and inshallah, much more higher than this. So I'm going to pass the stage to Dr. Syed Ali Raza. It's over to you, Dr. Saab.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amara. I'm working as a locum consultant oncologist in London, and I'm part of APSPS UK for the last 3 years. Some points from Dr. Sarah Jilani's presentation that really I enjoyed, because in her portfolio, she mentioned opening of closure of incision or making an incision. Yes, these are competencies which she got, and she mentioned them, and they really must have helped her. So whatever you do, maybe that is not very much significant or important for you, but you never know that maybe that is the same skill which your employer want to have from you or expect from you. Next, we have Dr. Usman Amir Khan, who is chair of APPS UK and has experience of decades in the NHS. We would like to have a few words with him to share his tips when he take interviews and to employ any doctor, what he want to see in that doctor. Over to you, Dr. Usman. Dr. Usman, you are not audible. Sorry, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I mistook that time, and then I was hosting the geo meeting also, there was a problem with that.
I believe we have lost him again. As co-host of the event, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the participation of many non-Pakistani doctors in this workshop. Do remember APPS UK, though, is an Association of Pakistani Physicians and Surgeons across the globe, but we invite, welcome, and ready to help any doctor from any part of the world. Now we would move to question and answer session. There is a question which is raised many times during the session, and I would like Dr. Gardezi to answer this. That is that many doctors have clinical gap, or they are resuming their career after a gap of 5 to 6 years. And most of the time, their applications get rejected. Like we have examples of more than 200 or 300 applications, but they rejected, and most likely the reason was that clinical gap. So what they should do to overcome this deficiency?
Thank you, Dr. Alireza. I think I touched this subject briefly on my presentation earlier on as well, that having a clinical gap it can cost you sometimes, but it is not something to be disappointed about, because as we were talking about the CV portion of the talk, all that matters is you have to keep yourself updated. Now, I can understand that lots of people have to have the gaps in their CVs because of one or the other reason, but as long as you stay connected with your specialty, make sure you have shown some kind of commitment, even if you're not working, then attending some kind of courses, online courses, or if you have done any exams. Those are the things which can help you to stay in touch with your specialty. And to be honest, it is perfectly understandable. Lots of people here have their clinical gaps as well. People take maternity leaves, they take time off the work completely just to go on holidays and stuff. They take a gap year, they take time to make money and stuff like that. So it's understandable. If you can explain why you had that gap and what have you done during that time, that's perfectly acceptable. So don't take it on to say that, no, this is going to be a completely negative thing, I'm not going to get a job.
Thank you very much. Dr. Abdul Hafiz want to say something about this.
I think what I've seen is, obviously when we come a different country, some people come on a visa where you can actually work. Okay? And those people, I recommend just get any job. Okay? Having a non-medical job in your CV is not a problem. Okay, rather than doing nothing and sitting at and that you're a lazy person. Obviously, these days with the COVID, we have learned so many confined teaching sessions, online courses from Royal College websites, apps training sessions. So whatever you do, just keep a log that in your spare time, you have been all kinds of activities, which is absolutely.
We have some signals issue with Dr. Abdul Hafiz. One thing I want to announce, and Dr. Abdul Hafiz will announce formally as well, that APPS UK is going to launch virtual clinical attachments. And even if you have attended this session, and if you can provide the evidence of this session, and you can mention this session, this shows that how much you are keen to join NHS and what you did actually to make yourself suitable for the first job. So do remember one thing we lack is that we don't provide evidence, or we don't document everything which we are actually doing. Even if you have discussed with any consultant who is not your employer on social media and discuss your portfolio with him, you can mention even that thing. And this again shows your keen interest and what you are actually doing to make yourself suitable for the first job. Dr. Amara want to say something.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Saab. I think one thing I'm just going to mention, I don't know what the panelists will think about it, especially when it comes to clinical attachment. During COVID lockdown, we have seen there was a lot of hurdles for our international immigrants to find clinical attachment. During this session, I think when we talk about clinical attachment, we always think about hospitals. So guys, there are GP surgeries as well, the primary care, your doctor surgeries, where you can get the clinical attachment. So which is a very, very good way of getting the experience how NHS works for multiple reasons. The first main reason is because like primary care is the gateway. You will see multiple the teams how they work in the NHS. Also, you will get an idea. For example, you might be able to get hold of to do some clinical practices. For example, taking blood. I think one of the panelists asked about what is the logbook. Logbook is the entry book. So if you are doing any practical, you're taking out any practical session, you can write it down, and at the same time you can ask your GP who is supervising you that they can countersign it, so it will be an evidence that you have done it. Third very important thing is audit or quality improvement, because this is really, really important, and the GP surgeries are able to provide you with this. You can do an audit and you can present it, and it will be in your clinical attachment that you have already done it. You have ticked your box. And the fourth important thing is the references. If you have done a clinical attachment in the GP surgery, they will be able to give you a reference. So when you're applying for NHS secondary care job, your GPs who are supervising you, they can act as your reference. So if you're finding any difficulty having a clinical attachment in secondary care in hospital, please do look out for the clinical attachment in GP surgeries.
Actually, that is something really amazing, which Dr. Amara has mentioned here, because this then opens up hundreds of opportunities for the doctors who are interested to do clinical attachment. Why? Because the criteria for some hospitals to hire someone or to allow someone to do clinical attachment can be really difficult. Many trusts offer only paid clinical attachments. However, the situation can be totally different in the GP surgeries. And Dr. Abdul Hafiz, because you are a GP, what you have to offer from APPS UK, or are you planning something to offer such clinical attachments to the doctors in future?
Thank you. Sessions like these are so amazing. When I came to UK, we didn't have anyone to hold my hand and enter me into the gate of NHS. Okay, we had to really struggle through the sea of applications and all those difficulties which we faced. As we move forward, obviously apps UK is here to help you. Okay, only for this session we have 750 registrations on our Zoom account. What I can see from our data, there are 2,500 hits on our live stream, which is going on Facebook, more than 100 shares. This is the kind of information which we need to pass to all of our junior colleagues in Pakistan as well as other countries of the world. We are here to help all of you. Okay. As part of this process, we know there are limited number of places in the NHS to accommodate clinical attachment at a particular time. So if there are, for example, 500 people looking for attachment and there are 100 places, so that place is booked for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So to overcome that issue, Apps UK has come up with this idea to provide you a virtual work experience. Obviously, we are bringing in a team of consultants who will actually lead that. They will work with you. They will discuss cases. They will go through what happens in the ward and hospitals and in the operation theaters. And in the end, they will be able to provide you a reference. They will be able to obviously discuss cases with you, and you have to show interest. You have to meet all the criteria, but it is essential that this service is open for APPS UK members only. And you can go to our website, become our member, and be eligible for this service, and we will hold your hand and take you through this whole process. So this is very exciting. We are looking to help you. Like we are doing a session today, our next session, which will be something very similar, but on a very different area of the junior doctor, is going to be on the second Sunday of March, which is 13th of March. So keep that in your mind. We will be discussing, for example, how to write a CV, how to take the interview, how to prepare for interview, number of different opportunities. So that there is an in-depth knowledge which we will be unpicking in those sessions. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the doctor has asked that, are we talking about virtual clinical assessment? Yes, APPS UK is going to straight away offer virtual clinical attachment. One of the doctor has asked that how we can provide evidence of this meeting. So you can take either snapshot of this recording. You can go to the recording. You can take snapshot of this meeting, and then you should write reflection actually, which is the most important part. That you should write that it was meeting, what was the objectives of the meeting, what you learned from the meeting, any questions that were raised, and then that were addressed. Coming to the
just to mention Ali bhai, one thing. If you would like to obviously avail the opportunity of this clinical attachment, go to our website, follow us on social media. We will be putting a registration form up very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, coming to the Q&A sessions, we have a lot of questions. One thing, again, I would like to go to Dr. Anjum Gardezi, if you are with us. Many doctors actually feel hesitant to start at a registrar or locum consultant position, though they have 8 years experience in their home country. What is your advice? Is it where they should actually start? Let's give for an example, for PLAB, who come only after PLAB. Usually they join as an SHO and junior clinical fellow, but who do MRCP, MRCS, who have done FCPS or any other post-graduation in their home country. What is your advice? At what job level they should start their career in the UK?
It's a very interesting question, and I've seen lots of people with different kind of approaches towards it, because different people have different caliber, and they have I've seen people struggling when they have applied for senior roles as well. If someone has joined directly as a registrar, as a consultant straight from abroad, then some people have been doing fine. I've seen 2 or 3 of my colleagues, they've started working as a consultants as well, and they've been okay. But my advice generally would be that start from a junior level if you can. And if you have a lot of experience and you don't want to work as an SHO or maybe a middle grade, then it's better to just have a kind of observership for a couple of weeks and see how people work along with these people. And then if you're ready to take that challenge, then definitely take that. Otherwise, probably start from one level junior to what you're expecting to work here. After a few months, 6 months or 7 months, once you're confident with the system, then of course you can go up to the level, because it's not only about clinical things. There are lots of things that matter in NHS, like understanding system, understanding your managerial roles, communication, and lots of things. So you can't struggle in those.
Thank you very much. Okay, one thing with my experience I would like to mention. We do a lot, but we don't make documentation of what we are doing. Even if you don't have a portfolio before this session today, start making a portfolio. I know a guy who got CCT training in the best oncology center in the UK based on all the evidences he provided from his home country. He was new to the NHS, but he provided evidence of teaching he did there. He provided evidence of audits. He provided evidence of research. Okay, let's see that you have not done this before, but you are waiting for your first job in the NHS and in your home country. Just go tomorrow, gather a group of doctors, teach them something, get a feedback form, fill it, and you can include that in part of your CV. So it is really, really very much easy to build up your portfolio. Do remember, in every job interview, when a CV comes, there are 4 things which an employer want to see. These 4 things includes any teaching, clinical audits, then any courses you attend. So you can attend any virtual course like this session, and you can mention this on your, so that these are like sort of tick, 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 tick. So you can get them sorted in the next 4 to 5 weeks, and then your CV will be much stronger as compared to a person or candidate who has not done teaching, who has not done audits, who has not done any virtual courses, who has not done attended any sessions. Because definitely when you will do something like this will improve your skills, and that is what is the purpose of including these as part of the CV. Coming to the questions, Dr. Irfan Rashid with us.
I think now time to close. We know we have answered lots of questions. There were more than 50 questions. And if attendees can look at the Q&A section, a lot of them have already been answered there. Thanks to Dr. Anjum Gardesi, who has been really helpful in terms of, very active in answering all those questions. He has a wealth of knowledge, which probably none of us has. I think we need to probably go towards closure. The session wasn't intended to be that long, but there were so many pearls of wisdom being shared. I didn't feel appropriate to, close it down. I think it's a very important information which people have. I would like to thank Dr. Anjum Gardesi, Dr. Amara, Dr. Sarah Jilani, excellent presentations, Dr. Safir, excellent presentation, Dr. Sayyid Ali Raza, as always. I think we need to get some closing remarks from the president of ABPS UK, Dr. Ghulam Abbas, surgeon. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdul Hafiz, MBE and CEO of Apps UK, and the team Apps UK, who has absolutely done a wonderful job to put this program together. And thank you very much, all the presenters, and especially Dr. Ali Raza. Your ideas and hard work has been appreciated throughout our organization. Thank you very much. What I would add is, I think all the areas were covered, but just to let you know that apart from being president of Apps UK, I'm consultant orthopedic spinal surgeon in Bedfordshire. So I am regularly involved with the shortlisting and interview of junior doctors. So what I see from applications, they are generally anonymized, and there are some holes I see in applications that people who, especially from overseas, they sometimes struggle with audit and research and those areas. Some of them actually have done, when you see them in interviews, they have done something of that nature, and they know the principle of research, but they write absolutely nothing in those areas. So if somebody has written nothing, unless you meet them and explore them at interview, nobody will give you shortlisting score, and you will therefore not be shortlisted. So one thing is very clear, that probity issues for any doctor is absolutely no. So if there's any lies in the application or anything which is not true, and it is found out, then the whole situation becomes absolutely unacceptable, and even if you get a job, you will lose that. But you, all of us, if during our graduation we have learned the principle of research, principle of audit, if you haven't done one, and if you have read research papers and you have done your journal clubs, you can write something about research, that even though I haven't published a paper, but I know the principle of research, and I have been participating in research, or I have been involved in quality improvement project. But give an example. So this is something people regularly fall short of when they write the application form. In the interview panel, when we see people, they sometimes try to tell you as a junior doctor that they have done so many surgical procedures, so this and that. All as a spinal orthopedic consultant, all I am worried that when I'm in operation theater, or I am somewhere else, or my colleagues are somewhere else, whether this junior doctor is safe to be let loose in the ward if somebody is getting a heart attack or anything, myocardial infarction, any pulmonary embolism or anything, surgical or medical emergency, this person is going to be safely diagnosing it and asking for help early. So they are not looking for junior doctors to be experts in surgery. So you need to be safe, and you need to be able to identify a sick patient, and you have to have this mindset of asking for help early. And that's what we are looking for in a person who we want to employ. Everything else is very nicely covered. I'm grateful for all of your contributions, and I can't thank you enough for the APPS team across the globe, and especially in the UK, to put together such wonderful programs in a very short space of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think just before I give the stage back to Dr. Ali Raza for conclusion, just want to like to mention one thing which is very important, which I have seen, because as you know, I sit on GMC's BME forum. Have 10 of you joined late. If you are giving wrong dates or your dates are changing between employers, you send a CV to one place and your job dates are different as opposed to the other one, that will be picked up and it will be reported to GMC. And this is a very important probity issue. We have seen people, after so much effort of passing the exams, passing the lab, they lose their registration just on that one matter that the dates were not accurate. So every time I know people have certificates, but sometimes they don't care. The certificate is lying somewhere. Every single document you submit, you need to have the evidence, you need to have the record. When you reapply or renewal or anything else to GMC, those dates will be cross-checked. Thank you. Over to Dr. Sayyid Ali Raza for conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is most important thing, actually, be honest. Though we are trying to make the things easier for you, that's why we are giving these tips, but be honest and be truthful when you are providing evidence of anything, because that is somewhere the candidates try to find a shortcut for that, and then they fall into prey, and really their GMC registration can get cancelled if they are not dishonest at any point. Okay, so that was a wonderful session. The session was supposed to be of 1 hour, but I can see that it is 5:47 p.m. So we are concluding the session. One thing, we are bringing a series we are bringing a series of such sessions for you. So do follow us on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, on Twitter, visit our website, be official APPS UK member, because then we will be able to send you official emails with invitations to join these sessions. Thank you very much, and special thanks to Dr. Ghulam Abbas, President APPS UK, and Dr. Anjum Gardezi for taking out 2 hours for us during this weekend. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah.